Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, along with social justice contributor Coy Malone. Hey, Coy, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Sybil?
Good. Everybody seems a little downcast. Today is a beautiful summery day in Dallas Fort Worth.
You know
We're
what
over
we had to go
90
through to get to
degrees.
this?
Not much.
We are
Not
beat
much,
up by this
considering
winter weather.
this is February. We really haven't had much of a winter.
Well, it's been on and off here in Atlanta. It's been like cold one day and then
Yeah,
hot in the same day.
but we're not talking, uh, 6 feet of snow in
Right.
Atlanta. We're not talking, 37 degrees below zero like Chicago.
True.
Really, it's been one of the mildest winters, and this really looks. And if you're going to believe meteorologists in this area, last year when we had days like this in February, they led to really, really, really warm summers. So a lot
Right.
of folks are a little scared about that, but enjoying that's today in Fort Worth. I posted that is 95 degrees.
Oh goodness, wow. I wish. We're waiting on that weather here in Atlanta. That's been the general consensus that everybody is tired of this on again, off again, cold one day, cold one week, hot another. We want consistent warm weather.
Well, yeah, who wouldn't? I guess that's why people live in Florida.
I know,
Um,
right? Or
um,
California.
but well, even California, they've had their share of
Right.
really violent weather in terms of the floods and the horrific rains, the atmospheric rivers, and what have you. Did you have a good weekend?
I did have a good weekend. Got a lot done this weekend.
Did you?
Started trying to work on my dad's house again.
Oh, okay.
I had a contractor cancel on that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, had a rehearsal for a play that I'm casted in.
You cast yourself in a play?
No, I auditioned and I got casted in the play.
Oh, okay. What's the play?
Play is called Confessions of an Exotic Dancer. And it's about a male exotic dancer and telling all his tales of how he came into that lifestyle and all the crazy things that happened once he became a dancer.
Who wrote it?
The play is written by a man named Sherrod. I don't have his last name, but the play has been shown before. Previously, when it was in production here in Atlanta, Nene Leakes was a part of the cast.
And what are you in the play?
I am playing a crazy girlfriend
Oh, oh,
or
okay.
love interest.
Would
Actually, I
that
don't
be
think she made it a girlfriend.
typecasting?
Would it be what?
Typecasting?
I haven't played anybody crazy yet.
No, 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 not played, lived.
No, I haven't lived that yet either.
Okay, okay, okay,
I
all
wanted
right,
to. God stopped me.
okay. Well, see, God knew. Um, Coy has a guest today that we're going to talk to in a little bit, comedian Alton Walker. And so we'll have a chance to, you may recognize that name from some of his radio work, but we will have a chance to talk with him in a little bit. But first, we talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday effort to super serve the African American community with the stories that are of interest or may have an effect on Black folks. And this is absolutely free. We'd love to have you subscribe. Just go to sybilwilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address. We'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday. And as well as join us here as we talk about the newsletter Monday through Thursday on YouTube and Facebook Live. And also descriptions of and some audio bites of the stories that we have that are on social media as well. So Coy has a story in today's newsletter about how the Crown Act was tested in a Texas school, and a story that's become rather infamous, especially throughout the state of Texas, regarding a high school student who was kicked out of his high school and in various stages and degrees, an 18-year-old. Because of his hairstyle, and not just because of the locks, because they said the length of his hair, which was pinned up, if I'm not mistaken. But they found a way around the Texas Crown Act. And now, unfortunately, this young man and his family have paid the price for it.
Yeah, so we first reported the story in September 2023 about Daryl George, who was a then 17-year-old junior at Barbers Hill High School in Mont Bellevue, Texas. And he was placed on an in school suspension for wearing his locked hair in a ponytail, but it was tucked above his neck and above his ears. We did share a picture of his hairstyle in the original story where it showed his locks were braided kind of like in a U shape and tucked underneath. So I'm not sure how that will violate school policy. However, the Crown Act, which stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair, went into effect just days before he was placed on this in-school suspension. And so the Crown Act basically protects discriminatory practices, or it protects against discriminatory practices against natural hair texture and styles like braids, locks, twists, and knots in the workplace and at school. So the school claimed that the suspension was due to the length of his hair, not the hairstyle, despite the way that his hairstyle was worn. And he was also in jeopardy of being placed in an alternative education program if he didn't cut his hair. So he decided not to cut his hair and to continue to fight this case. So on Thursday, February 22nd, a district state judge said that the school's dress code policy did not violate the Crown Act because it covers the style of the hair, which is what's protected according to this judge, but not the length. Now, you and I both know that locks aren't meant to just be short or chin length, or no, these are a free flowing hairstyle that is meant to be worn however you want to, whether you decide to keep them neat or if you want to grow them like Rastafarians traditionally do and do something called free lock, which is just allow for them to lock and grow however they form.
Unless you're in a certain school district outside of Houston, Texas.
Right, which is unfortunate because this young man was also placed in an offsite disciplinary program since August of 2023. And the reason why this went to trial in the first place is because the family argued that the Crown Act was violated. And in response, the school district argued that the law doesn't address the hair length, and they filed a lawsuit in September. And then they requested a judge to clarify whether or not that this is the case. Does this cover length or not? So what we're looking at is another example of finding a loophole to disregard something that was put in place specifically to protect the rights of Black people in the professional workplace and within the school environment. They're finding ways to make sure to let it be known that your hairstyle is not welcome here, no matter what you do, no matter what you say. So it almost makes you think that we have to, which we already do in a lot of these spaces, work twice as hard in order to make a point be proven and to be successful. Now it makes you think that we have to do the same when it comes down to writing these laws and including every piece of language that would make this stand up or be withheld in court. And that's a
So,
scary thought.
well, it is a scary thought, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't include length, but they're back to the drawing board. Have you seen any information about the state lawmakers that were there with him, Mr. George and his family, in support of this case? And if they
I,
are going to go back to the drawing board in terms of adding length, which I think will be difficult to get it passed now.
Right. So the family did vow to continue to fight this in court. So we should be expecting some updates within, I guess, the next few months, however long it takes for those legal proceedings. In the meantime, I haven't heard any information in terms of the law being amended, but that would be something that would have to be voted on again. So I want everybody to understand that the Crown Act is not a federal law. This is a law that is in place per state. So in order for it to include length is something that's going to have to be voted on again. And
Right.
if your
I'm
state does
saying,
not have the Crown Act in
and
the
that's
first
what I'm
place,
saying.
right?
That's what's going to make it so difficult for them to go back, and especially in the state of Texas and the other states, be on watch for including that in the regulations of the Crown Act. It's
Right.
not
And
going
this
to be so
isn't,
easy.
had it not been for me just kind of doing due diligence and research and even finding this update, I wonder how many others will be that interested in finding updates or how publicized this will be leading up to elections for Texas, for local and state elections. How much of this will we see so people will understand what's coming up on the ballot if this even makes it to the
Well,
ballot?
this hasn't even gotten to it. I mean,
Right,
and this isn't a ballot initiative. This is something that's passed in the legislature.
right.
Right. It's not unless they make it a constitutional situation, which is highly unlikely. But it is one that is going to be just at the responsibility of the state members of the state house and the Senate in order to make a decision on this and whether it'll be passed or not. So it's really incumbent upon the voters of Texas, if this does come up for a vote, this
Mhm.
is incumbent upon those that are sponsoring the bill to let people around the state know, here it is. Here's the addition that we have that that required as a result of Mr. George and his situation. And here's what we need you to do. And you get on the phone and you badger your legislators in effect.
Yep.
But it's going to be interesting because this is a largely Republican state,
Yeah.
and their concern right now is really not about our hairstyles. Their concern is about the border and trying to do everything to keep people from coming across the border and clogging up the immigration system as they see it, and not necessarily about the rights of Black folks or other people who are affected by the hairstyles.
That's always last on the table. But everybody also be aware that you also vote for the judges.
Oh, for sure, and that's definitely, and that is the most important thing that you can make in this
Mhm.
story. The point that I don't think we hit home enough was the fact that judges are up for reelection or election next week in the state of Texas. Super Tuesday is when Texas has their primary elections, and there have been a number of efforts, especially after a couple of years ago when Black female judges made such news because they were elected in just an alarming number. I think it was 17 Black female judges that were elected in the Houston area, and they're making every effort not to make history again. Every avenue that these women go down in order to get themselves back on the ballot, they're being rebuffed. And so it's a really important issue, as you say, Coy, and I don't think that we are talking about it enough, about not only making sure that our state legislature or members of the legislature come up with these bills and amend them, but also how the people who are brought up in the judgeships and how their decisions will affect the lives of these young people like Daryl George. And that is not only with the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court obviously makes decisions that affect us in some form or another, as we've seen by abortion, but also it is an opportunity for people to affect change with judges who make a difference closer to home.
Right.
And this isn't, and as you said, this is a statewide effort, the Crown Act, and it's not one that the the Supreme Court is likely to hear, although they're hearing things regarding some Florida and Texas laws right now. But it is really important that the further down the ballot you go, those offices have a greater impact, and I hate to say that, have a greater effect on your life and your day to day existence, as Daryl George is finding. What I want to know, Coy, and I was hoping that we might get this from the story as well, is what happens to this kid now? Will he graduate in a couple of months and go to college? And so they're hoping that this will all just go away.
From what I understand, that he's being kept away from his peers, and that's the thing that was heartbreaking about this. When he left the courtroom, he was in tears, talking about how he from that school in particular, because of his hairstyle. So from my understanding, he still will graduate but won't be able to participate in sports. I think that was one of the main things that one of his main concerns, not just academics, but I believe he was also either a football player or a track star at that
Mhm.
school. So
And that affects
no.
his college as well.
Yes. So hopefully there are other means to provide that for this young man. This is a time where I will shamelessly plug HBCUs, which are very excellent at scouting young athletes and talent and people who are excellent in their academics beyond their senior year. A lot of HBCUs start their scouting process during their junior year, which he's in as well. So I would encourage for him in particular with this unique situation to look into HBCUs and just start that process now.
And sometimes you've got to go to the HBCUs and let them know, hey, take a look at me, because their scouting abilities or scouting budgets are limited too, in terms of getting and also recognizing that a lot of the kids that they want are already being scouted by the larger PWIs, and
Right.
so sometimes it's incumbent upon like a Texas Southern maybe or a Prairie View to go out and scout this young man who was in the Houston area. And what a lot of them do, and this, is to put their stuff on social media and
Mhm.
promote themselves and get in front of the coaches and the administrators or the athletic directors of these HBCUs.
Right. And I just want to give a quick shout out to one of my friends named Keith Saylor. For a long time, he put together an HBCU scholarship fair here in the Atlanta area, where I was a beneficiary of that because that helped me get on my track to Jackson State. It also made me visible with all the other HBCUs, which was great. And I had offers from almost all of them. Well, actually, all of them had offers for me. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people should do and participate in. I myself was a volunteer for this, and I've witnessed how many students have matriculated through that and become successful throughout their academic careers by having something like that. So I would encourage anybody out there that is an avid supporter of HBCUs, who is a graduate of an HBCU, who would like to continue supporting HBCUs, is to maybe consider hosting your own scholarship fair or trying to encourage that within your area, maybe organize one and help the visibility amongst students and the HBCUs. It's vital.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or let's start. We have local programs here, and I know this helped Yolanda's niece gain exposure to HBCUs. Is to promote the tours of the college campuses during the summer, and get expose them to the culture and the life on the campuses of historically Black colleges and universities. We've run out of time for this segment, but I also want you to take a look at the story I had about Donald Trump saying that he got indicted for Black folks that they really understand, and that's why they are supporting him, because they have been mistreated by the Justice Department, and so he says that Black folks identify with him because of
Oh my
his
gosh.
number of indictments. Yeah, take a look
He
at that.
keeps playing in our face.
Yeah, but he's succeeding somewhere along the way. He's succeeding because the numbers are showing, if you believe those numbers, that Black folks, some Black folks, really like Donald Trump. So let's move to what's really going on. And Coy, let's bring in your friend and please introduce comedian Alton Walker.
So this is a really great friend of mine who is hilarious.
Hey,
He
Hey,
makes these funny voiceovers that you all have to check out. He's going to drop his information so you can follow him on social media. Alton Walker is an amazing comedian here in the Atlanta area that has some upcoming shows. Look at me just shamelessly plugging everything. I'm so glad to have you here.
oh, thank y'all.
congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
success. Welcome.
It is an honor to be here, especially on your show. What?
Well, we're glad that you were able to make it. I know that you are a busy fellow. You're on radio all over the place, and you're doing all kinds of stuff. Where'd you grow up? Who are you? Who are your people? Where you from? What you do?
We cousins. You don't remember me?
You two look like family. Yes, you do.
No, I'm from here. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Attended Stone Mountain High School. Um, Went off to Payne College. I don't know if y'all know about
Oh,
Payne College,
sure thing.
HBCU in
Yeah.
Augusta. Graduated there and started getting into comedy around 25, 26 years old. But I was just doing churches,
Mm,
doing church comedy, and then was introduced to the comedy club. And ever since I think I quit my job at the age of 30
nice.
and 39 and been going strong ever since then.
And the language is different from church comedy as opposed to those in the club, is it not?
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It really doesn't. It doesn't have to be. You know, I cuss a little bit now, but it's not vulgar. It is not
Mhm.
overly done. But I think it's just because I'm getting older. It has nothing to do. It's like
You
when you
don't
get
care.
older, you just need to every once in a while. You just need to throw one out there every once in a while. You
Yeah,
know.
just to let folks know you still got it, right? Are you married? Do you have kids?
No, not married. No kids. Yeah, none.
No, I don't mean. I'm not pushing it. I'm not
Look,
pushing it. Trust and believe.
look. I'm not. I'm open to it though. Now I
Okay.
am
Okay.
open to kids. I'm open to marriage. But yeah, none right now.
Have you met our friend Coy Malone?
Coy don't
Yeah.
want me. I've been trying to holler at Coy since she don't want me. It's all good.
Okay. 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 Well, the fact that you're here says a lot. So that's great. That's great.
Dang.
So what do you like to do in your spare time? What kind of forms your comedy?
Just life, man. Life, current events. I have a real strong church background, so a lot of that come from that's where the God ain't pleased. If you
Hmm.
follow my video, the God ain't pleased videos. It just come from a really church. My mom just had us in church all day long. I think I came out of my mama's stomach just in church, So a lot of it started there, and like I said, it's everyday life,
Yeah,
That's pretty much it,
that's funny. That's funny stuff enough. Now you talk about current events, and we talk about social justice issues here, which there's not a lot of funny in social justice, and so
Mhm.
sometimes to look at it differently. Do you talk about issues like what we just talked about with Coy and the young man who has been kept out of his classroom and his school because of his locks and the Crown
Yeah.
Act?
I've heard it. Yeah, I heard that story. We haven't talked about it because I'm on the show, Morning Hustle
We
on
know the morning hustle.
Reddit.
Yeah.
So I'm on that show. We haven't discussed that, but I did hear that story, and it is interesting that I think he even lost the case, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm shocked that it's not a bigger story than it should be. Because if that's the case, we in danger.
Right. Right. And that's what
Because
Coy is saying too.
I
Mhm.
mean, but that goes to show you that even when it comes to black women, black men hair, even showing that they call it nappy and saying that's bad hair,
Hmm.
and it's like who came up with that definition that nappy hair is bad hair?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So them doing that, they're judging, or I guess they're setting the standard of how your hair should be. So
Hmm.
that means you wanted us to perm my hair and go back to that. Like who says that is good hair? And so that's a whole nother conversation.
No, it really is, and and
Yeah,
and and especially by old white men who don't have hair. That's a whole nother thing. He's like,
that's losing their hairline. Like
right, yeah, yeah, it's back. It's there somewhere.
they got that whole cul-de-sac right there. That whole, and you talk about hair because you can't grow it. That's
That's
why.
right. That's right. You got a chip on your shoulder because you got a big chip in your head. It's a
Mhm.
chunk of hair right now. What about the elections going on? Or you have any horses in the races, or do you have
Uh,
any thoughts or observations about what's
hey,
going
You
look,
on?
laughing already?
because I'm scared. I listen.
Are you?
I'm not. I don't
Mhm.
know if you're noticing, but there's an increase of a lot of black rappers, and the black influencers that are promoting Donald Trump. I don't
Hmm.
know if you've seen it. These articles are coming out. I just saw I don't know if y'all are familiar with Charleston White. Um,
Mhm.
he's an influencer. They had an article about Snoop Dogg, and I know they was playing with the headlines, but it was
Right.
kind of hitting to that he supports Trump's, which I know, the way they did that article, I was like, oh, this is horrible. I think even 50 Cent said something about Trump lately.
Right.
Mm.
So, but I don't know if they kind of trying to twist the headlines, but it's making it seem like these guys are supporting Trump, and
Hmm.
it's getting scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know with this agenda. Then with the sneakers, the tennis shoes,
Exactly. Exactly.
like
And I was just talking about the story that I did for today's newsletter, Alton. and Donald Trump was out before the African Americans at the Conservative Black Federation.
I see the black ones.
Yeah, right. And that's exactly what he said. All these lights in here, I can't see it, but I can see the black ones. I can't see a lot of faces, but I can see the black ones. And the black folks are eating it up. Those are his people. And
you want to know a crazy history fact? That was one of the reasons why Africans, people on the continent of Africa, were chosen to be slaves, because they said that they can pick out an African descent person amongst a group of white people, and therefore, if they ran away, if they became missing or something like that, you can always see them.
Right.
Yeah. I put a video out, I think 2 days ago, about that comment, and I was surprised at the comments that I got from black people.
What'd you get?
Some was like, he didn't. We know what he meant. He didn't mean it. Some of course supporting him. And I was confused because some even said they didn't see anything wrong with what he said. And I was like, wow, I don't see that he's attaching that black folks we identify with being criminals. Like that's
criminals, yes.
That's not clear.
Right.
It's like, when it comes to this, it's like he's not mentioning any. When it comes to black folks, it's never policies.
Mm-hmm.
It's never policies. It's some kind of stuff like say tennis shoes, and that we relate to being a criminal. Like we love somebody being, I guess, street credits. I guess he thought that.
So this is giving him street cred.
Yeah, that's what we like. And I'm like, no, that's not black folks. And I think as black people, we have to start checking these microaggressions. Like we can't let it keep going. Like, and feeling like they don't know. I think that's the excuse. Is like, oh, they don't know, or you have to teach them. No, I think white folks know by now.
Right.
There's enough information to know what's a racist comment. I'm tired. I know they may be your boss, but I'm tired of it. And I think we have to step up as black people and correct it right then and there. Stop them, correct them, and then we move on.
And nobody said to him, nobody that night, nobody leading up to this election or the 4 years since he's been out of office, no one has said, dude, when you put out that full page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 black and brown boys for Central Park jogger, and then when they were found innocent, you didn't retract all of this and say, my bad, give the black boys a break.
I'm gonna tell you what they kept saying. They kept bringing up Biden.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in my comments kept on bringing up, well, Biden said if you don't vote me, you're black, whatever. But I'm like, but Biden did apologize too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They never mention when he apologizes for any of the things that he said or done. No.
We haven't got an apology from Trump for anything he said.
Now we might need Biden to really understand people's titles and names like LL Cool J and just get that straight when next time he introduces folks like that. But as far as his policies and what he's doing for black folks, I'm not so mad at it. But the things that Donald Trump, but here's a statistic, and we're talking about voting. That we need to be very clear on. 12% of his vote came from black people for Donald Trump in 2020. Last year, when they did another similar poll, they moved up to, I believe, 15 to 20%. So that's the scary number. And as we are talking about this, and as we are talking tonight about this, tomorrow is the election in Michigan, the primary in Michigan, where a lot of black folks live in Detroit and the environs, right? And so what is that going to look like? And especially those black folks that are angry at Joe Biden.
They don't even know why they're angry at him.
Right. Why?
They're angry because of Biden and his friendship with Israel and not supporting the Palestinians, the brown people in Israel in the fight against Hamas. And so, a lot of black folks, a lot of black and brown folks are going to go to the polls tomorrow and vote uncommitted as a sign that they are with Joe Biden.
Yeah, I do feel like there's going to be a increase. I think a lot of people are not going to vote this year. I really do feel like
sit at home.
I've heard people say that.
Yeah, I really feel that that's going to happen. It's going to be
So
very low.
Alton Walker, from your standpoint, how can we get folks up and out to vote? What would it take? And no holds barred. It doesn't matter if it's legal or not. Tom Jordan used to say we give them a Lexus with a kit. And to encourage people to register to vote. What in your mind, in your wildest ideas, you and Coy, tell me, what would it take to get Black folks out to vote? What would you like to do as an incentive?
They're gonna have to white rent for the year or something.
Well, they already wiped your student debt.
No, not mine. He didn't get to me. No, because that last one I didn't like. Did you see it?
The save plan?
Yeah. If you took out less than $12,000 and you've been paying over the last 10 years, where they at?
Well, it was a lot of them.
Community college.
Right, because I don't know anybody that took out $12,000. Let me tell you. When they came into the financial aid office and said, Alton, we got $30,000, give me all of it.
Right.
I did not say, no, just give me, I just need $5,000. Nah, right. No. And if you can't pay $12,000 over 10 years, you don't need.
Well, we know how tough that can be for some of us, Alton.
But he said if you paid on it for the last 10 years.
Right, because some of us have lapsed.
But I mean, what was you paying? $1 a month? All right, my bad. I got off. My bad.
So Coy says rent. Nice. You say pay off your student debt.
That'd be nice.
Okay. What else?
Rent would be nice. A year of free rent would be nice.
Okay.
What else, Coy? What you think?
You're gonna have to give some people some tickets to Vegas.
and a $500 credit.
Miami or Vegas? Which one?
Okay.
For real. Free gas.
Okay.
Free gas would be good. Free gas for well, I got an EV, so we got to figure out.
Oh, you're one of those. Oh, excuse me.
What of those?
Oh,
I moved to the EV.
I must find a charger. I'm running about 10% now.
Hey, it was scary.
Let's go plug up at home.
Yeah, I got the plug at the house. It's very convenient. But yeah, free gas would be good.
Okay. And a plug at your house if you have an EV.
Yeah, if you got an EV, you got to get a free plug. I know we got to figure out something. I do know. I feel like we do have to. We have to make the policies more understandable, I guess, to the common person. I think that's what messes Black folks up too, because we don't know policies and we don't know what certain things mean. I think we really need to figure out a way to make this stuff common and make it where we understand it.
And make it easier to understand and all of the things that go into it. Michelle Lynn Summerall, our friend on Facebook, said education on how the system works should be enough of a payoff. Vote because it's crucial. That's a good point, Michelle. But a lot of folks, like Alton says, we just got to make it easier for people to take it in and to understand what all this means.
And how does it affect me? Because you're telling me to vote. And I'm telling you, because I'm in the high schools and I'm around certain people, and then you telling me to vote, but I don't see how is it affecting my life.
Right.
My life not changing. I'm still broke. That's what people are saying. Like whether Trump or Biden, every president that was in office never affected my life. These are the things people are saying. So why do you want me to vote? I'm still going to be in the same position that I was in when it was a Republican or a Democrat. So what's the point of me voting?
Right.
So I understand we want people to push to vote, but we need something to break this stuff down and show people how it affects them.
There was only one get your booty to the poll.
That was only one. Effective. That was effective marketing there. Yeah. Have you not seen Coy's video?
Oh no, I did. Yeah, I saw that one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Alton, I don't know how your time is. Can you stick with us during the trending topics? Okay, so we'll ask you to hang around. And Yolanda, we had Regina and we didn't get to her comment. Regina Glover on Facebook, if Black people don't vote and Trump returns to the White House, they better shut up when he enacts evil practices against them. I'm already looking at some place to move to outside of the country.
Mhm.
And I'm very serious about this because the way that I feel and speak out about policies that were enacted, I don't understand how no one has filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump for the way he addressed the COVID virus and the number
Yeah.
of people that died as a result of that. And so when I say things like that, I'm fully capable of saying, yeah, and I don't want him to be president again. And so, it's time to move on. It's time to, find that little grass shack in some tropical island, definitely not Mexico, but someplace else to live, because I don't think it's going to be a good time for us.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
and I don't know if I'm gonna say it,
Mhm.
but we all Black on here. But I just feel like, when it comes to people voting for Trump, it comes down, and we know it comes down to the people money.
Right.
The tax breaks, and they can care less. And I hate to say white people, but sometimes I just feel like white people can care less how bad a person is, as long as my pockets
Are
are
full.
being taken care of.
Yep. Yep.
We had what was that governor in Alabama that was I think it was a rape charge or something against him,
Oh,
and people
it
just
was,
still voted for him.
he was running for the U.S. Senate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you got
Judge
Trump.
Moore. Yep.
Yeah, Trump and all these accusations, and being caught saying I grabbed him by the
Yeah.
the coup de
And
cotta.
and right there in Georgia, right there in
Right,
Georgia, with
right,
your boy Herschel.
right. And it's like, wow, you could care less how a person personal life is or how evil they can be, long as it benefit me in my pockets. I'm voting for them, and I appreciate Black people that we have morals,
Mm.
But sometimes I'm like, you know what?
Well, some of us do, and
Well,
others
yeah, some
do.
of us,
Yeah, some
but
of us.
some is like, hey, because we'll cancel somebody if they cheat on their wife,
Yeah.
and you wonder, and I say this and people get mad at me, but I'm like, that's between him and his wife. How's he doing for the community?
Okay, so I have a man who was president, wants to be again,
Mm-hmm.
who cheated on his wife and paid her not a lot of money, but enough money that now it's caused a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Hush money, as they call
Right,
it.
right.
And so, a lot of people are, high-fiving them, saying, "Oh, that's the way to do it." But what are you teaching our children? What are you teaching our young people that, this is the way that you should,
Right. And that's why I love
live
us.
your
I
life?
love that we have morals, but it seems like the white folks don't care. It's like, hey, they ain't got nothing to do with us, man.
Right, right,
How's them tax breaks? I know
right,
that was your
exactly,
wife. They ain't got nothing to do with
right.
me. But I think that's just the difference of how we are as a community,
If I didn't make it clear, we are in trending topics, Yolanda, and so let us now talk about these. Our guest is Alton Walker. Alton is a comedian and known in a number of radio circles, including Morning Hustle. Tell our friends Med and Head Crack,
Oh,
what's up?
yeah. The head
Um,
crack is not here no more. But
yeah, I
man,
know, but do you
I
still?
do.
Yeah,
Head crack is the actual. That's how I got the gig. Actually,
right,
head crack.
right,
Yeah, and I was
yeah.
talking to Med about you today.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I was
Hey,
talking.
what
He
what
was,
what did he say? Because it's
no,
not
he was
always.
actually editing something.
Oh, okay.
I heard your voice, and he was editing. And I
Okay.
was like, I'm on her show tonight. He was like,
All
oh,
right.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah.
he's a good guy. You guys got a great producer there.
Oh yeah, man, love it.
So where are you going to be? Tell folks where they can see you coming up.
This weekend, March 1st through the 3rd, I got 5 shows at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. 5 shows at Atlanta Comedy Theater. Come through. It's gonna be a great show. We will have a great time. I'm all about fun, energy, and I'm super excited. So get your tickets.
All right.
Matter of fact, I don't mind giving out a pair.
No. We want you to save your money. Save
I
your
mean,
money.
if I don't mind,
Leave a
listen,
pair for Coy. Leave a pair
we
for Coy at the door.
I don't mind giving out a pair, but I guess no, we're not giving out a pair. Pay me.
No,
All right.
no, get your money.
Thank
Yeah,
you. All right,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to be nice, but thank
I
you.
know, and it was very benevolent of you. That was
know,
really nice.
yeah,
Leave a
no.
pair for Coy, and as long as she doesn't bring a guy with her to your show, then
Are you trying to hook
that's
me
messed
and Coy up? I tried. I think I tried to shoot my shot at Coy. I think she blocked it.
okay.
I shot. I said, "Get out of here."
Dang.
She's like the Dennis Rodman. I know. I
Dennis
understand.
Rodman.
I
Yep.
understand.
That was one of my favorite players too.
And a
Play like him.
nice address. Tuesday is election day in Michigan, and a real challenge facing Joe Biden as he seeks the support of the once reliable voting bloc among Arab and Muslim Americans is his stance on the war in Israel and not coming to the aid and to the assistance of Arab Americans in Palestine who are being killed by the tens of thousands by the Israeli Defense Forces. And Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is encouraging her community, as I mentioned before, to vote uncommitted as a protest against support for Israel in the Middle East. So, do you think that will affect a congresswoman like Rashida Tlaib, who is also up for reelection, or will it affect Joe Biden in the long run? And will he get the message about how important the Black vote is in places like Michigan and how this war? And I'm for Israeli people. I don't like the leader, and I have said that all along. But I don't like the way that they have just decimated complete communities, and just to see where people live and families just torn apart by their return in violent warfare.
I
Do you
think a
think?
lot of people are using this against President Biden right now. That's been a lot of the conversation. People are asking for ceasefire. They're asking for aid to be sent to Palestine.
Along with Israel, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
there's just a lot of confusion on what exactly is this war? What is the purpose? How did it start? Like, a lot of people are confused about the war in general, but because it is going on and a lot of people are dying and the United States is involved, but kind of isn't involved, I think that's playing a part in a lot of people's disapproval when it comes to President Biden as it stands right now in the polls.
Do
But
you
there's
have
confusion
a horse
still.
in this game, Alton?
I try to, and I try not to say much about it. But I'm a Christian. I'm a person of love, so I don't like war, period. So however we can stop it, let's do that. And that's where I kind of stand on. But I try to stay my opinions. I try to not have too much of a strong opinion, because you have to understand people are it's people on both sides, and so let's just stop it. How can we? That should be the conversation.
Well, that's one of those news breaks that's just come across. President Biden said a ceasefire that would allow the release of hostages in Gaza and bring an end to a ceasefire would bring an end to some of the violence could come by the end of the weekend. They are still efforting towards that. That's a nice promise to make before your vote by the people in Michigan has the highest population of Arab Americans and Muslim Americans. That's a good thing to say, but you've got to. I think it's a little too late.
Oh man, I think they took Sean King off, but
Yeah,
following him, man, I was in tears almost every day watching babies. I'm like, these are like babies. I couldn't. It was to a point where I was like, I may have to stop following him because I just didn't want to see it anymore.
right. And if it affects you that way, just imagine what it does to Sean.
Right.
He's doing his best, and I think shutting him out or cutting him off as he has been by social media platforms is not the answer.
It's not right.
That's not the answer.
No,
is
because we need to know what's going on, and there's a lot of filtered news that is going on that doesn't show, the extent of war and what it is. A lot of people just think, I know we see these clips of bombs going off and reporters in the street with their protective gear, but we don't realize how it affects how people dress, how they eat, the PTSD that it causes, the children that it hurts, the innocent people that are hurt.
Yeah. And they should be scared of Coy Malone because, as a social justice person, she can go out there and let people know about themselves. So I'm just really interested in how this all looks. And are you looking at the Republican race with the former governor, Nikki Haley, governor of South Carolina, still in the race. Like she's losing money. The big money guys of the Koch Foundation, I'm sorry. They pulled their money out, and she's still getting some small donations, $5-10 a piece, but that's adding up. But everybody's wondering, how long can she do this? Can she, Super Tuesday is like, that's going to wear her out. She's going to be broke by the time we come around to that.
She can't give up. She said the $5, $10 added.
She said, it's adding up. Keep sending it. Yeah. It's like, okay.
That's going to be her plane ticket home.
Yeah. Or she could be on the bus, or maybe she'll call Alton for a ride in his EV.
I mean, we already know what's going to happen, man. It's going to be another Trump Biden race. So
yeah.
Man.
So speaking of Trump and Biden, they are both supposed to go to the southern border this week on the same day, Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how close together they're going to be, because the border is pretty spread out. But I don't know how close together they're going to be. But they're both going to the border, and that is where people have been begging them to come for years. And their first trip down there is on the same day. What does that
and do what?
Like? For photo ops. Because everybody's saying, well, Joe Biden can sign an executive order. He hasn't signed an executive order. Donald Trump hasn't signed anything. When he was there, he just griped about the previous administration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then have people that were residents going down there thinking they were making a difference by putting up picket fences.
Yeah. or the picket with all of the dangerous fences that they're putting up there to kill people as they're trying to cross the water.
I mean, there does need to be something done in a sense with immigration. I do understand that. But then you also have to understand that these are people, these are human beings that we're talking about.
They're not human. They're just as we were not to them. Neither are these people coming over from Mexico. And especially the browner they are. If they're coming from Haiti, or they're coming from Venezuela, or they're coming from any of those countries, that they really don't give a damn.
Let's not get started on the incident that happened in Texas with the Haitians.
Well, then that's what I was thinking about.
That was,
with them, on the horses and rounding them up with the ropes and all that kind of stuff. It's horrific.
I can only imagine. I mean, I try not to, because I'll probably be trying to come over here too. So I'm being honest. So if I was in their shoes and looking on the other side, in some of these countries, I would probably try to get to the U.S. too, and I can only imagine.
Would you give your life to come, if knowing what you know about this country, and if you were coming from a foreign country, would you give your life in order to come?
But think about what you just said. For somebody to want to give their life to come over here, it must be serious.
How bad is it?
How bad is it over there? So for you to, how bad is it? So I can only imagine. There's a saying, there go I by the grace of God. So I hope if I come across that border, y'all let me in. I'm gonna work hard.
Well, we see how well that's worked for a lot of folks. That like they make that U-turn and then head back, to the border.
Well, let's not forget about the children that their parents that literally walk them to the border every morning, and their children go through and go to school and come back every day.
Yeah,
that's a real. Alton, I cannot let you go without asking you the question of the day.
All right.
What's up with the beat down on Cam?
I was just talking to a friend of mine.
What could he have possibly said or done?
Okay, so
to these dudes?
I just got off the phone with a friend of mine that he said he had the inside scoop.
Okay.
Basically, so this
we all have a guy from the barbershop that got an inside scoop, don't we?
Well, he knows about football in the Georgia area.
Okay.
And so he's basically saying they got the story wrong. This was not for like a youth event.
Okay.
From my understanding, this is like a 7-on-7 tournament, and it's like $7,000 prize or something like that. It's like some money. It's a lot of money involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I heard, it just got to talking. They got to going back and forth, and yeah, and so that's how the fight started. And Cam and his Darkwing Duck hat.
I said he looked like the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz, but I like the Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck, it gave him superpowers, and
that hat did not move.
If I was you, I will wait till we take off the hat to fight Cam Newton. But
the power is in the hat.
The power's in the hat. But I will say we too old for that. We too grown for that. Cam, I don't know. I mean, and I'm not gonna put it on him. I don't know what exactly happened. I don't know if he started it, but come on, man. We can't be doing that.
People are not scared anymore either. They're like, well, that's Cam Newton. He got some power. He got some money. He got people.
He also got some hands. He threw them boys around.
but again, you never know.
That man is 6'7" and from College Park. Like, why?
You never know what they could have had. Somebody could have had a gun. Somebody, and so I'm not with violence. Like I'm gonna tickle you. Let me tell you. You try to fight me, I'm going to tickle you. I'm not fighting.
See these hands?
These hands, I'm
hands of a mad tickler.
And you laugh, it's over. Game over. Who you gonna fight after you laughed after getting tickled?
Right.
I'm not fighting.
Is that how you got out of fights and stuff when you were a kid? Or
I'm tickling. Yeah, I was the goofy guy. So yeah, for Cam Newton to be like that, and I'm like, where's your security? What is going on, man? But Cam, you know how I get when you playing sports. You talking junk, and it could get violent. At least they was, it was fish. Well, I don't even think it was a lot of fish going on. It was a lot of pulling hair.
Yeah, there's a lot of hair to be pulled. I
think it was just a lot of egos.
A lot of hair pulling.
So was it a lot of guy stuff, Coy? You think it was the testosterone, or
that's all it was?
That's what I think it is. It's got to be. You're in a tournament for $7,000 or more against Cam Newton, who was a professional athlete, who's still fit.
Yeah, and they lost.
Right.
And he's not gonna let these dudes take him out when he's got all that child support to pay either. So.
Not even while wearing a witch hat and capris.
Okay. And we know he knows how to rock a pair of capris. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I love it.
Alton, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to close out with our Yogi's Jewel. This is our daily affirmation and provided by Yogi. And today's jewel is: purpose is the anchor to a happy life. Find your purpose and you're set to get on with a happy life. So go out there and keep that in mind. Alton, one more time, people can find you at Alton Walker Show.
Alton Walker Show everywhere, all across the board, all Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Christian Mingle. I got a Tinder. I did get a Bumble.
Okay.
I'm on Tinder. I'm on Bumble. I'm trying.
How's that working for you? Well, I think you need to work on your first lines and your capture of the women, because if you tell them you're a mad tickler, I think.
Well, only if you fight me. I'm tickling you. I'm putting this out there so anybody that want to fight me, just know you're gonna get tickled. Okay. I'm not fighting. But yeah, find me everywhere. Alton Walker Show, and like I said, I got some shows. If you're in the Atlanta area, stop by Atlanta Comedy Theater. 5 shows. I promise you're gonna enjoy it.
Alton Walker. Okay, we're gonna have Coy come to your show this weekend at the Comedy Theater.
Coy ain't coming. I can look at her face.
Go see Coy.
Look at her face. She's not coming.
Well, then she's got a play. She's gonna invite you to.
Because she invited you 5 times on this show. You never said, "Yeah, I'll be there." You just look like that. Right. Usually when somebody say, no, usually when somebody say, hey, Coy gonna be there, you be like, yeah, I'm coming. Coy never said anything about she
didn't even say, no, I'm good. No, it's not.
She all just looked at
trying to think about which day I'm coming.
He's got 3 days.
I know.
3 days, 5 shows. That's all right. God ain't pleased.
You're gonna be a focus of one of his videos, for sure. Thanks so much,
like security.
Thank you. Y'all are amazing.
See you later.
Love you.
Thanks, Coy, and we'll see you all.